Yes, people, welcome back to the 1894 for a Southampton versus City preview. We are 12 wins on the bounce. Let's hope we can make it 13. Let's get into our thoughts. Right, Luke, like I said, we're playing Southampton this weekend. They're sitting 12th on the table. We are sitting first, thanks to all of our good form. We are just off the back of a big win versus Chelsea. Obviously, the opposition standard will not be as probably good as we were expecting against Chelsea, but Southampton are capable of turning us over. I'm sure St Mary's is a tough place to go. I don't watch a huge amount of Southampton. I'm not going to lie to you. Do you want to give us, you're from Southampton, as I don't think many people know. Do you want to give us a bit of a lowdown maybe on what you possibly know, what we can expect? I know they've got Ward Prowse, he's a serious set-piece taker. That's about as far as it goes in terms of my knowledge.
Yeah, well, like you've seen in the table, they're 12th place, so I wouldn't say that it was like their Wolves, Brighton standard, obviously, of, you know, the kind of team performances, but there's still one of those teams that can definitely beat us on their day. You've seen, like I say, they drew with Tottenham recently, they've also beat Brentford 4-1, so they've got like players like Armando Broja, Livramento. They play like a similar style to like what Hasenhüttl Klopp plays, like gegenpressing, that kind of style. So, like in the past, where we played them before, lost like 1-0 now and again. You know, a lot drew 0-0 this season. They're one of those teams that we've got to be very wary of. Make sure that we take our chances, because if they take a chance, then press us and defend really well, then they can easily get a win against us. It's all about getting our chances spot on this weekend.
Yeah, actually, there's a few players there now you reminded me of that I actually quite like. I'm a fan of that Livramento. I think he's a good player. I'm sure he'll probably get a move from Southampton to maybe a team further up the table at some stage. He's from Cobham, isn't he? He came out of Chelsea's academy, so he's obviously a very talented player. Broja capable of scoring a goal too. Is Shea Adams available? Do you know? Is he around?
I think everyone is available. I think I think everyone's available now. I think because they say there's something troubles with COVID. I think recently, but I think they're all right now. So it should be all right. But doesn't really matter. As long as we get the win, that's the main thing. But yeah.
It doesn't really matter who's available to them, if we're being honest. Like, every time we go anywhere in England or around Europe, like it's everyone's Champions League final. I mean, if Southampton and Ralph Hasenhüttl could get a win over Manchester City, top of the league by 11 points right now, one of the big contenders for the Champions League, that would be absolutely massive for his own personal CV, as well as Southampton's season. Obviously, they're not in a relegation battle. They're not in a European battle. They're very much just caught in the middle. Don't have a huge amount to play for other than the pride of potentially beating Manchester City. But in terms of ourselves going into this game, we have absolutely everybody available from what I can tell. There were some images that came out from training earlier on today. Seems like absolutely everybody is available. Of course, bar Riyad Mahrez, who is away at the African Cup of Nations, which is not going too well for Algeria at the moment. So I have a feeling we may be seeing Mahrez sooner rather than later. But from our own perspective, we need to go into this game with the exact same mentality that we went into the Chelsea game, into the Arsenal game, into every single game. I think throughout this 12-game period, we have proved that we can win easy and we can win hard, okay? I think we are equipped to deal with anything Southampton throw at us if we go in the right mentality. We just need to keep chipping away. This is not an absolutely massive game in terms of blockbuster. It's just a hurdle that we need to get over. Play our football, stick to what we know best. Hopefully Pep doesn't make any crazy decisions. I don't think he will. I think he's shown pretty good consistency in his squad selection so far this season. But we just need to turn out the way we always do. It should be a simple case of we have all the ball as usual. They'll probably sit back and hopefully try to counter at some stage. Ruben Diaz didn't play against Chelsea. I would imagine he will play against Southampton this weekend. You'll see he's in our predicted starting 11. He should be pretty fresh, ready to deal with what comes from Southampton. How are you feeling about us going at this game? I think it's kind of hard to pick out any negatives other than just don't be complacent.
Exactly, yeah. Like in the past, as we've seen, obviously at St Mary's, we're obviously to have a win there 1-0, beat them 3-0. They beat us like 2-1 or 3-1. It's always a mixture of results every time we go there. I'm not saying they're a bogey team; they're just a weird team for us to play now and again. But I think we'll be all right. I think the team is a lot more screwed on than they were when we played them at home when we drew 0-0. There's a lot more screwed on. We're actually in the title, you know, in the title battle. That's our focus at the moment. So I think we'll be a lot more on it, and definitely I think we'll actually be comfortable. I think we'll definitely be a more professional performance than it was in previous years. But I feel within myself confident that we'll get the result. I think it'll play a similar team to Chelsea. Maybe bring back Diaz, maybe bring Gundogan in for De Bruyne or Bernardo, or one of the two. But I imagine it'll be a similar team to last weekend.
The thing with this game is, and these type of games against mid-table opposition who don't really have a huge amount to fight for, they're just kind of keeping themselves afloat and staying where they are, which they're probably pretty satisfied with. It's a massive opportunity for players to come and make a name for themselves, you know, show Pep what they can do and that they should be getting picked. Players like Jesus, if he gets an opportunity, he should really be looking to step up and improve his game, because I think he's been one of the sloppier ones throughout this season. I'm not saying he's been awful, he's been good at times, but he's not had that consistency that players like Bernardo and Cancelo and other players, and Sterling has recently come into form. It's possibly an opportunity for him to bag some more goals. And I think a big one that I would like to see is, if he's to start, a massive performance from Jack Grealish. I think he really needs to show what he's worth, show what he can do, and prove his doubters wrong. We have backed Jack Grealish ever since he signed. We will continue to back Jack Grealish, and these are the games where he can build on his confidence. Now, something to note about this game is it is our last game in the Premier League for 2 weeks. We play Fulham in the Cup. I think it is about maybe 10 days, 2 weeks after, and then we don't play until the 9th of February against Brentford at home. So if we can win this game, that's 13 wins in the bounce in the league, with about a 3 week Premier League break after that. So that puts us in a pretty good position going into what looks like a pretty hectic month of February. We've got Champions League, we've got cup matches, and we've got maybe less Spurs, and then of course Man United on the 5th of March. So it's a pretty hectic schedule after this little semi-break we're getting. So it's absolutely massive that we continue the momentum and keep building on the confidence that we currently have coming into the beginning, if you like, of the business end of the season, where it gets really serious. So it is a potential banana skin. Should we do it correctly? I think we'll be just fine. Going with the correct energy, correct mindset, no complacency. I don't see why we can't get a result. Let's get into our predicted starting 11 and see who we chose for this fixture. Right, with this being the last Premier League game for 2 or 3 weeks, we feel Pep will go as strong as possible, finish this little stint of the season as strong as possible, get a win, and go into this break and get prepared for the next part of the season. We're going to pop our starting 11 on screen right now. If you'll see it's a really strong team. It's probably our strongest 11 right now. Give or take Mahrez on his day, you could put him in maybe for Sterling, but Sterling's also been in pretty fine form as well. So in goals, obviously Ederson, I think I saw a stat, it's on the 1894 Twitter right now, we'll pop it up on screen right now for you really quick to see. He has completed a clean sheet in 50% of all of his Premier League appearances. That is absolutely mind-blowing, considering he's with us since, I believe, 2017, 2022, 50%. Absolutely deserves his position every single week. He is worth every penny we paid for him and more. Back four, Walker comes in for us. Diaz back in the starting 11. Laporte beside him. And of course, Cancelo, who has been a maestro from the full back position for us this season. A pretty strong back four. I think it's fair to say it is our strongest back four. Stones may feel hard done by, but he hasn't played enough football probably to get himself into that full match fitness form and prove why he deserves a position. So Laporte and Diaz for us. What do you think about that back four, Luke?
Yeah, I agree with it. It's strongest back four we've got. I mean, maybe you could probably put Stones in if you want to again, like against Chelsea. I think this is the kind of game, especially away from home against a team like Southampton, where you want to have the back four that's been your most solid and the best back four this season. That's performed well together. So yeah, I agree with the back four completely. It's no risks, no changes that are unnecessary. This is the back four we should go for.
Yeah, I'm perfectly confident that this back four can deal fine with whatever Southampton throw at us, as long as there's no catastrophes or anybody's not on form. I think we should be just fine. And I think Cancelo and Walker will both be absolutely massive in chance creation going forward, as they always are, particularly Cancelo. Into midfield, there's only one man for this job every single week. We can rely on him, I think, nowadays. He's been very competent. So Rodri is our man in defensive midfield for us. No question, there's not much more to be said. He's doing his job. He's doing what's asked of him. And we're very happy, I think, as City fans. He's grown into a player that we're all very satisfied with. I think there's even more to come still. In midfield, possibly player of the season for us alongside Rodri and Cancelo, Bernardo Silva. I'm struggling to see any team sheet without him. If he continues in this form, if he continues to be as consistent as he is, he will probably be in our starting 11 every single week, unless it's maybe a cup game like your Fulham, where he probably could get a bit of a rest. But these next 2 or 3 weeks is a fair bit of time off, so players like him and Cancelo, who played a lot of football, will get that. Beside him, we've gone with Gundogan, because he's not played a huge amount of football either recently, so he should be fresh. And he's usually very reliable, Gundogan. He's good in those tight positions and those tight passes and playing balls through, which should help our front three of Foden, De Bruyne, and Sterling. Foden had COVID there, I believe, or he was out for 2 or 3 weeks. He was back against Chelsea. He looked okay, not his dazzling best, but this is an opportunity for him to get some fitness back and get back to fine form. De Bruyne had the goal scorer against Chelsea. He's in that false nine position. And then Sterling on the right. There's no Mahrez available, but Sterling is not a bad replacement right now. That midfield and that attack, I think, is our strongest available right now, Luke.
I agree. Yeah, it's like I don't know Gundogan hasn't played obviously because De Bruyne's obviously been put in. I think Chelsea was probably De Bruyne's best game I've seen him like confidence wise for a long time. Because I'm nice to see him get the confidence going. This is another game for him where he can sort of get a couple of goals or assists, maybe possibly. But yeah, Gundogan, Bernardo, Rodri, probably terms of like the balance of midfield, it's probably the best midfield that we've got for balance in terms of like stopping the press or cutting down or what I'll usually like try and crush teams down obviously if we actually get the goals. And I think the front three of De Bruyne, Foden, Sterling. So Foden and Sterling can overlap De Bruyne. Obviously, then De Bruyne can play those kind of cute little through balls for them to get on and score. And a goal and made the first half and try and get Southampton pinned down early as possible. Because I think getting a goal early in this game is crucial. Because if the more Southampton hold us back and press us and that, the more eventually it might start. I'm not saying we will panic, but sometimes I can set in on a certain game or a certain mentality where you start wondering whether or not you're actually going to score or not. So it's important that we get an early goal in this kind of game. I think having that kind of front three at midfield will definitely help us in that situation.
Yeah, something to note that it literally just I just remembered there was the game myself and Revel were at. We were at the last game against Southampton in the Etihad. It was a 0-0 draw, wasn't it? So they'll probably feel you're right. If they can hold us out for as long as possible and not concede, there's no reason they can't get another draw or even nick a win if they can create a chance or two. So that's something to be wary of. Southampton, they'll fancy the chances. They've done it once. They've done it in our place. They'll be confident doing it themselves. They'll have a right go, I'm sure. But this is, like we said, our strongest team. I think it's fair to say, without being too arrogant, on paper, we are streets ahead of Southampton for quality. So if we turn up with the right mindset and turn up in the correct form, it should be a win. It should be a win, but you never know. These are tough places to go. It's a long journey down to Southampton. Anything can happen. Let's move over to our score predictions now. See what we're thinking. Luke, what are you thinking about this one? I'm thinking a win, but it's a tough one to call. It's a tough one to call.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a 3-1 win, but it won't be very straightforward though. It'll be one of those games where I think they will definitely give us a challenge. It'll be probably one of our tougher away games this season, but I think we'll have too much for them overall attack against defence to actually beat them. Obviously, they've got Livramento and Ward-Prowse, people who can deliver a ball. I reckon they'll probably get either a corner or a Ward-Prowse free kick. They're probably against us because it's going to happen at some point, I imagine. But I think we'll have too much for them overall to actually get a result and get the win that we need. So yeah, 3-1 City.
I'm gonna go for a 3-0 City. I'm very confident in ourselves right now. I think we'll be very aware of this is the last Premier League game for a couple of weeks, and we'll want to out in a high and start looking towards the next part of the season. And I'm going to throw into my 3-0 prediction a Grealish goal in there somewhere. I don't know when, don't know how, but Grealish is going to score for me. I've got a feeling. I think it's time Grealish stepped up, and I think he's going to do it. So leave your score predictions down below as well. Leave your thoughts on this game. Leave your thoughts on our starting 11. We love hearing what you have to say. Please do leave a like on the video as well. It really helps us. It helps other people find the channel. And of course, subscribe if you are new yourself. Thank you very much for watching. And we will see you for a watch along. Sorry, I meant to add, we're going to do a watch along on Saturday. First time in a while, we're bringing back watch alongs for certain games. You can help us pick which games we're going to do watch alongs for. So do get involved in that. Probably be on the community tab on our Twitter page, which is linked down below. So get over there and follow us. Thank you very much. Good night. God bless.